Yo, what up? This is KMT the Ra, and welcome back to another KMT Productions video. Now, before we get started, I'm going to ask that you guys go ahead and hit that like button down below. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm, meaning that the more that you guys interact with the video, the more visibility that I get on YouTube with these videos. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure the bell notification button is turned on so you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. All right, so the topic for today is going to be consistency, the value of consistency. So let's go ahead and jump in. When we understand why consistency is an important habit to have, we can use it to our advantage. It's highly unlikely that we'll achieve great things if we're not consistently making smart decisions and taking the right actions. What does it mean to be consistent? When we're consistent, it means that we're dedicated to carrying out an activity or completing a task. It means that we're clear on what we want to accomplish and taking the necessary steps to reach it. To be consistent is a commitment that we make to ourselves and others. It's about keeping our word to carry out what we agreed to do. Our level of consistency reflects our values and standards. When we're consistent, it means we're doing what's required now to achieve a better result in the future. Therefore, consistency is about repetition. It's about doing the same things repeatedly over time to reach a desired outcome. Why do we struggle with consistency? There are several things that can cause us to struggle with consistency. These can include lack of patience, desire for instant gratification, lack of clarity and focus, not having support habits or triggers, having a all or nothing mindset. Leadership expert John Maxwell says, small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. When we know the reasons why consistency is an important habit to have, we can take steps to develop it. Why is consistency an important habit? When I started making videos on YouTube, I started a clean slate. And by staying consistent and uploading content as much as I possibly could, sometimes it would be every single day, I literally have hundreds of videos. Like hundreds of videos on YouTube. So it's like exercising. It's a muscle that you have to work out on a consistent basis if you want to give yourself either more strength or conditioning or longevity and endurance in order to be able to achieve a certain outcome. So we're going to go over 5 reasons why consistency is an important habit to have. Knowing these can be the motivation you need to give more attention to it. Number 1. It develops discipline and self-control. Forming a new habit can be challenging because it's easier to go back to what we're comfortable with. Our ability to be consistent requires self-control, which means we don't allow ourselves to get off track. This will help us develop the discipline that's required to keep us going. Number 2. It builds a higher level of trust. The level of trust we have with ourselves shows up in the level of trust that others have with us. Being consistent will help build momentum. This means we'll also feel good about what we're working towards. Number 3. It can fast-track your improvement or development in any area. Consistency will lead to progress, which can speed up the accomplishment of what we want. This will build our confidence, which will help us set bigger and more challenging goals in the future. Number 4. It will create accountability. Our results will reveal if we're consistent or not. If we know we're not on track, we can hold ourselves accountable. This means that we can adjust our actions or behaviors and keep progressing towards what we want. Number 5. It will help you stand out and be noticed. Small actions carried out repeatedly will amount to big results over time. When we do something for a long period, we will differentiate ourselves from those who aren't as consistent. This will help us attract new opportunities that may not have been possible if we weren't consistent. Here are some ways that we can rethink consistency. Developing consistency doesn't need to be difficult. So here are a few things to consider so we can view consistency differently. Start with small steps. We don't need to make drastic changes in a short period of time if we don't need to. We can build towards something big by starting off with small steps. As Martin Luther King used to say, you don't have to see the entire staircase, just take the first step. Create a schedule or a plan to stay on track. If we don't measure our progress, it's difficult to stay consistent. This one I particularly have issues with sometimes is just using my daily planner. It really does make a difference, and you can accomplish so much more if you write down ahead of time what you need to get done. Make better use of idle or free time. We all have the same amount of time every day. Learning to use our free time wisely can help us stay consistent. Give yourself a break when you get off track. It's inevitable that we'll get distracted and lose focus of what we're trying to accomplish sometimes. Rather than beating yourself up about it, we have to learn from our mistakes and recommit to doing what's required. In conclusion, we can accomplish anything we want in life if we have the right strategies and take the right actions consistently. When we use consistency to our advantage, it will show up in how we feel and the results we create. If we don't develop consistency, the chances of achieving what we want when we want is very small. So choose a goal or something you want to accomplish. Identify one action that's required to achieve it. Create a plan to track that action for 60 days or until it becomes a habit. That's pretty much going to do it for today's video. So before I let you guys go, I just wanted to say one more thing. See, the power of consistency isn't necessarily linear. Let's use the analogy of building a house. So if you build a house brick by brick, technically linearly, if you start building the house there and you stop building it like the next day, you can always come back in a couple weeks and technically your house should still be there. However, that doesn't necessarily work the same in goal setting, especially if you're trying to accomplish something in a very competitive market, like the world is very competitive. If you're in the musical field or any of the arts, acting, if you're looking for a better job, if you're trying to educate yourself, things like that, it's not linear progress. In fact, the first 48 hours of you learning a new skill are actually the most important, because if you drill your brain consistently for the first 48 hours, and I don't mean like 2 days, I mean 48 hours of actual steady progress. Like you try to get as much information as you can in that first 48 hours of you learning something, that actually will accelerate your learning process. Conversely, for the consistency analogy, in reality, it's more like you're building a house with straw and there's wind. So you can build up your house as much as you want here on Monday, but then if you take a break and then try to come back the next week, chances are you've lost some of your house to the wind, because consistency, it's a compound type of growth. Because you have to think about it this way. One, you may need to relearn or redo some things that you just previously learned if this is a new skill. And two, you're also competing against people in the same market as you who may have been consistent when you weren't. So you actually lose progress. So that's a really big reason why you want to be consistent. It's not linear, it's compound. So the more consistent you are, the higher the probability of you getting what you want in the end. Even if it's not 100% chance, it is infinitely higher, like exponentially higher than somebody who is not being consistent. So that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. If you guys like what you saw here in the video today, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below. If you have any suggestions about any topics you want me to cover here in the near future, make sure to leave that in the comments down below as well. And if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure the bell notification button is turned on as well, so you'll be notified anytime I'm uploading new content. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.